All right. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:30. We are on time today. It is January 21st, 2025. How's my dogs feeling? Uh, I know I'm feeling good. Did my little sauna workout, got my mind right. I thought about all my multiple plans for today. And I know a lot of guys all the last 2 days. Red Dog, you see the futures up 39. Red Dog, you see the futures down 35. Red Dog. I'm like, guys, it's Martin Luther King Day. Have some respect. And, watch the inauguration, see what's going on in the transfer of power. It's pretty damn cool. If you're a hater of the results, don't be a hater because no one likes a hater of anything. Just control what you can control. And we'll see where we are on Tuesday. We'll see where the market is. And as of last week, we know that the market changed a bit. You had the light PPI, the light CPI. We had a big gap and go on Wednesday. It ignited what I call a new active sequence. I went into that pretty flexible. And now I've been starting to massage some new positions that I put on as of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, hopefully thinking that, we could have some kind of sequence that's not going to be crazy with different tape bombs that we could manage and let the market make us money. And also basically just figure out how to use our tier system with it. So with that being said, my name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer. Welcome to the 630 Club, where we go over what I'm looking at, how I'm making money, what's the thought, what's the key, what's in control, where our clues come from. At this point, as I said before, you look at the chart of the SPYs or the S&P cash, and you'll see that we had a big gap up here. This was last Wednesday. It gave us 59.05 to trade against. That's what that is, 59.05. From there, you could have bought versus that, had a higher low. What was this on Thursday? And then on Friday, not quite enough power to break above this downtrend line, but a lot of thoughts were maybe they would sell the inauguration because it seemed too easy. And as of right now, there's been a lot of volatility, but we are up about 20 handles and off the morning highs, which is fine. Let people who don't have a lot of risk on, let them be able to navigate and potentially think about putting on some new positions. At this point here, this was your gap pivot, 589.20. I teach this all the time. Just like after earnings, you have a big earnings move. You have a strong report. You have a guide up. They give you a big pro earnings gap. And then sometimes if you're not an active trader, you say, I'm going to buy versus that pivot and let it beat me. Well, if you bought that day versus 589 or said, hey, I could buy somewhere in this candle versus that low, you got paid for those multiple days and you're kind of getting paid for right now. We were as high as 601. There was a tape headline that Premier from China said, trade wars don't help anyone. And that I feel like brought in some sellers. So we're going to get this stuff back and forth. So just make sure you can handle whatever size you're comfortable with and make sure that, you have room to buy more if the trade doesn't change, right? If the trade changes, you get out of the way. Like here, if we had a gap up on the CPI, it was a light CPI, light PPI. The narrative was inflation, higher rates could be troubling, and that eased some of those concerns. And then if you said, I'm going to be buying versus this gap up because that means there's power there. And if on this day, if it would have went below that and filled the gap, then hey, that thought and that narrative was wrong. But it wasn't because you had a gap up, you held higher, and now we'll see, do we hold here and go sideways? As of right now, the SPYs themselves are up $1.93, 559.51. And now we'll see, how much of today's strength does it hold? I'm already trimming a little bit of some things. Like here's the alpha team. These are my dogs that I hang out with all day. They get to see what I'm in, what I'm positioned in, what I'm buying, what I'm selling. And so far I've trimmed a little of a few things. I trimmed a little Tesla because it's up 8. I always do that. Where's my Tesla? I trimmed a little bit so you could see sell at 622 at 634. Why not? It's up 8. I trimmed a little Vago, even though I think it's one of the best semis. Why? Because it's up 4. Trimmed a little Amazon, even though I do think it's one of the best mega cap 7 names. It's up 3 or 250. So I trimmed some so I could buy some so I can net money, on January 21st. So I could also get paid. I get paid as a trader. That's what I do. I trade for a living. I've been doing this for 30 years. That's why I'm trying to help you guys with your mindset. Some people get burnt down and leave the business after 2. Some people don't even make it to 2. And some people even after 10 years, like Red Dog. How the hell do you continue to do this for so long? Because I have the Red Dog mindset. Okay. I wake up every day. I put my morning in as a focus. win the morning, win the day. That's what you could do, and that's how you can stay in this business for 30 plus years. It all starts somewhere. It's all different for everyone. Anyway, so with that being said, let me say good morning to some of my dogs. Who do we got? We got Tony Wallace, Rising and Grind. We got Hayden Martin in the house. What a great national championship game, huh? We got Tony, we got Ali, we got Trey. Good morning, RD. Snowing in Houston. It's cold here. What up, Kelly? What up, Jose? Hey, I miss you, Jose. How's Crocus treating you? Anyway, this is YouTube. You have YouTube. You have what else we got here? We got YouTube. We got Twitter. We have a whole bunch of people, coming in together, to talk about what's happening in the morning. And last week, we did isolate a lot of different types of names that I thought could give you some clues or give you some reasons to be in some. Should we be a studio? I was doing push-ups in the snow yesterday, by the way. So let's go to semis first, because some people are like, why am I in AVGO? Well, look at that chart. That chart looks awesome. Some people are in verse 211 because that's, remember I talked about a big gap up. You could buy verse out if you're not active. Some people said, hey, here's your high and low. I'm long verse 219, or I'm going to add because I use a tier system. And then it closed pretty damn tight. So I took some home, trimmed some up before. I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to hold some. And at some point, if this market wants to continue to be strong and trend, you have this AVGO, to me, is a leader. Okay. Also, another semi-leader is Marvell. I'm not in Marvell because I can't be in everything, but look at this thing. Same kind of thing. Look at this gap. You come in long verse 104, because it tested this and held and then made higher lows. And look at this now. So Marvell looked good as a semi. So those two look good. Better than NVIDIA, to be honest. NVIDIA, sometimes leadership changes. Sometimes they need time. If you guys remember with NVIDIA, I had this, I said, are they going to sell the CES? Are they going to sell, the event? And they did that, which was right here. That was also the day that they kind of sold the market. And this was a double top. Then it couldn't hold even that candle. So that was another sell rule. Remember the sell rules I tell you about? 30 years. I try and help you guys. I try and have you learn before you have to learn for yourself. And unfortunately, just like kids, everyone's got to learn themselves. But I get it. So NVIDIA, not great. First of all, this wide range candle was very potent. It was very engulfing. And then you had a bounce back that didn't even take back a third of it. So it showed you that kind of weakness came in and it's trying to come up. You have a bit of ascending channel. Anyway, I'm not in the video. We'll see what happens today. Does it change at all? They gave you a few trades. Same way with Apple. I'm not in Apple. Apple's been the worst Mag 7 name. The worst. Chase is still in it because he's been in it since the pandemic in 2020. It's something different if you're an investor. Meanwhile, Tim Cook, he should smile more. He was like one of the only guys at the inauguration not smiling. I'm like, come on, Tim, smile. But anyway, this is Apple. Technically, even if you love Apple, it gave you some sell signals. When? Well, up here is super extended. It broke below 257. Then it lost the 8-day. What's my rule? If you break the 8-day, actively, you don't need to be in it. Then it broke the 21-day and got rejected into the 21-day. A lot of ways to not be there. And then, it was one of the weakest rallies literally the weakest on Friday. So it got downgraded today. Where's Apple? Apple is down $4. This gave you no reason to be in Apple. I'm sorry. I always look for a clue as a trader, what to be in. That means you have to see something different than the market, something showing relative strength, in a down market, or something showing relative strength when you're trying to be in positions. And right here, what up, Bobby? I love Bobby 4.0. Apple's down 255.75, below 228. The market obviously doesn't seem to care right now because Apple's been that weak, below the 21-day, just like here when it was above it and we were long it. That is a tactic, my friends. Okay, that's not an opinion. That's a tactic. When you're above the 21-day, you're strong. As an active trader, you try and be long it. When you're below it, you're out of the way. All right, here is your 200-day. So we'll see what happens to Apple if we get to this 219, 220 area, and it holds there. So NVIDIA and Apple have not been the same in 2025. We all change. We all try and change. I'm not the same as I was in 2024 and 2025. I'm trying to fast. I'm trying to diet. I'm trying to drink less. I'm trying to, do things that build a pro-growth mindset, which I've been working on. I have a new company coming out too, Red Dog Mindset, that I'm going to hope add a lot of value to all of you guys. So why will Apple be the same? Sometimes it's better or worse. Sometimes trends change or sometimes new ones emerge. Anyway, Apple does report at the end of the month. I'll probably stay away from it. What about Tesla? Tesla still looks good. Doesn't look fantastic, but still looks good. I give it the benefit of the doubt lately because of the whole Elon Musk, Trump relationship, and it is what it is. I'm not gonna poo-poo it just because whatever. Elon did help Trump get elected. He should have some kind of things working for him. It's up 870, 435. This is 439. It's above the moving averages also. You also have a low and a higher low. It's been a little tricky. On this day was like one of my worst days last week because I was super duper long and and just didn't work out for me. But anyway, I still didn't stop me from taking it home overnight, which I trimmed some. I have some options and we'll see how that goes. Would you say NVIDIA earnings could be a very positive catalyst? All right, Tony, when is that? That's not for a while. When's NVIDIA earnings? Okay, NVIDIA's earnings is January 29th. It's January 21st. A lot of time. I got a lot of things going on today and tomorrow. I'm not worried about NVIDIA earnings on whether that's going to be the catalyst to turn it into a better stock. For right now, actually, no, sorry, that was Tesla. NVIDIA's earnings are even further out, I think. NVIDIA's got one of those weird, earnings times. All right, February 26th. Okay, Tony. No, it's not January 26th, earnings for NVIDIA. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Does it hold up? If NVIDIA was to take out this 138.70, start acting better, I'm not talking smack against NVIDIA. I'm just saying, for now, it's not something that's paying you to be actively long. You only have so much real estate in your head on how things can act. I'll tell you, the banks have been crazy. JP Morgan reacted very well to numbers. They tried to sell it down. They couldn't. Then it took out 251. So if you're in JP Morgan, great. If you're in Citigroup, from my report that I put out every year, I put it out in late December. I said Citigroup would be the best bank this year. And, whether it's the best or not, if you put some risk on, great. Congratulations there. I'm not in that. Let's see what I am in. I am in ONON. That's working out well. Okay, it was really tight. I even made this a power play. Why did I make it a power play? It was tight. It was showing relative strength. It gave you a move, and I still think it goes higher. So ONON is something different than a Mag 7 or a semi. So I like that. Yeah, earnings it today in Netflix. I'll tell you, Steve, I'm not going to have a Netflix earnings play. I don't know. I just feel like, it's not worth it. Usually when I play an earnings play, it's something that I'm worried about missing. And although I do mark up Netflix chart every day, and so a lot of guys that make good money, it trades by appointment. It just to me. So, what I would, I don't know. Does it get above 941 and make its way to 1,000? Does it have a momentum move? It's not worth it to me. I'd rather not, spend $5,000 to make 15 on Netflix. It just feel like I'm being a little too systematic. So we'll wait. Trade it after. I'll be prepared with levels. Like you have 915 when it broke. You have 941. How it reacts to numbers might affect other Mag 7 names. So, I hear you. Maybe later we'll see where it's at. Amazon to me is a great looking pattern. Amazon to me is showing some nice relative strength. That's why I am long. Am I long Amazon calls? That also on just Amazon stock. How funny was Zuckerberg when he turns around and is like, oh. Meanwhile, he's been made fun of everywhere. The AI is so nuts. Did you see all the versions of that afterwards? Wow. It's a scary world where we're stepping into, where things look real things look fake, and geez. Anyway, so with that being said, though, to me this looked really good. I think that now Amazon could be one of the first Mag 7s to make a new high. I did trim some a little bit. What's Amazon doing this morning? Somebody just said Amazon is behaving nicely, closed really strong. It's above 226. It's going to test 229, so you want to trim a little bit into 229 and probably hold some. I'll have this on as a swing. This is also a power play for those who are in my power plays where you want to be told what to do because you don't have the time to go through my note that has 40 different charts, a bunch of different if this, then that, and you want to just be told what to do. T3's power play products are for me to tell you what to do. And they're not the perfect prices, and sometimes it's different because I want to see a trend get established in power plays. I want you to be in for a week, 2-3 weeks, and have a move versus I think it's strong, I think it's weak, we're in a range, and sometimes you can get chopped up. Or sometimes you need to give things more room with power plays versus actively, which helped because I remember I bought I bought AMZN here in Power Plays, and I was also long it. I got stopped out, and Power Plays didn't because it was down there. And then I got back in it and made some money on Friday, and now I'm getting paid on it overnight. So, lots of different ways. You could always revisit when you get more clarity and more market discovery. Meta, I'm in Meta option. I think people were hoping that Meta, that TikTok would have been, I guess, banned or not. I think there's still a lot of computer emotional money in Meta. So where I mean by computers, based, of what's going on with TikTok. I think it'll wind up trading on its own merits once it gets out of this algo programming back and forth. It's 613 is the low here. This is 606. If you're long this for a swing, you could actually lower this to 603 and give it to 603. I personally do not love trading Meta. I trade some options because it's very loose and wide. It could go from strong one day to weak another, and then feels like it's getting weaker, and then all of a sudden it's up a lot. And, again, as an active trader, I can pick and choose my battles. Listen, when you go to Vegas, you can't pick and choose your hands, right? You sit at a blackjack table. If you get an 11 versus 6, you're feeling good. If you get an 8 versus 10, you're like, or a 7. Wouldn't it be nice if you can go to Vegas, which I don't do. I don't like to gamble. Same way I didn't gamble in the national championship last night. But it was actually tricky for me because I was a Notre Dame fan growing up with Rudy, the movie. I loved it. And my friend was a male cheerleader at Notre Dame. So we visited that school and had a lot of fun. But then lately, the last 2 years, my godson goes to Ohio State. I went there, had a great time. This year I brought Chase. He had a great time. So I became an Ohio State fan. So I was just happy. It was a good game. Notre Dame wasn't embarrassed. They came back. And those are the people who took Ohio State and to cover, they sweat it out a little bit. So you got to sweat it out a little bit to make money. Otherwise, it's too easy. Bottom line is, I don't need to sweat out Meta. I'll play it in a way where, I don't want to miss it if this happens to have a really nice move. But, it's got to be a perfect setup for me to be in the options. Palantir is kind of rebuilding. It stole maybe too much in 2024. So that's why it's been in like a corrective zone. I know. Here is where most people in my community got out of it around 80, 91. Then when it lost the moving averages at 74. And then if you remember, there were 2 days where the market made lows and it held in there. So showed some relative strength. This 74.61 will probably be a tough spot. I'm not shorting it, but I would think if you are long it for a bounce, this would be a spot that you probably, want to measure. If it gets through it, it could cause a bit more of a squeeze. This is like halfway in this channel. So I'd rather see you trim if you're long Palantir than add right there and let it, have some more time. I still like Dash. I'm in Dash. I think Dash, if you, not that I want to talk about Chamath or whatever that guy's name is, who crushed everybody in 100 SPACs. He's starting to get more vocal again. This is one of his top 3 plays. Not that I care, but this, this to me is a really good name that we did very well with last year, and it's rebuilding. It's above the moving averages. I personally think Dash is going to be a $250 stock this year. Why? Well, it's just going to get back to where it was when it came out. Look at this nice cup and handle pattern looking pretty there. This zone 188 to 250 to me most likely happens. Yeah. Anyway, Todd says that PLTR Trump party was hosted by Peter Thiel with all of Silicon Valley. All right, that's cool. But anyway, I like Dash. So with that said, I'm glad the inauguration is done, to be honest, just for the mere fact that we don't have to worry about them selling it. The less binary events that are out there, the better as traders. We like to just see trends continue. We like to have, no curveballs, even though we're trained to hit a curveball, a fastball, a changeup. Anyway, but for now, let's see where the SPYs are up 220. So nice. If you went long the SPYs versus CPI gap pivot, trim and shell that. I didn't go long the SPYs. I just was in my head saying now we could be in a new active sequence long, which I went over with you guys, and I went with names that I thought made sense to buy. So we'll see. Someone asked me, what about the little name? This is just a little robotic name that I played really well into there. So I bought a little bit back. It's not a focus, but because I have 8-12 positions, I have it on. I do have Rumble on. Yes, I do. I bought that really well right around 1150. Played it real. Also, remember last year when all those options were going off and somebody talked to somebody, even though you probably shouldn't. So that was a great option play for us. I bought them also. No one told me anything, but I saw every option under the sun on November 11th light up for the end of the year. So I bought options too. And now it looks like it's, back in play, 1150, 1307. There's a lot of room there. It trades with crypto a little bit. And yes, I do not like the fact that Trump came out with a meme coin and so did Melania. And I don't care if you think I'm being Red Dog realistic or like a Debbie Downer. The bottom line is, I trade crypto, and I do think you could accumulate Bitcoin over time in an asset allocation plan. I think you could be long Bitcoin. I am long IBIT when it's above the 821 day, which I bought back here. But I'd say, every few years, altcoins could fall 97% off their highs in a day or in a week, and someone's going to get hurt. And I don't want to see you guys get hurt. So make sure if you're trading altcoins, be on your game. Use the moving average rules. If it breaks the 821, they be gone. I remember, when Blankenfein or Feld, whatever he had, it broke the 821 day 2 days before it lost 90% of its value. So just don't get caught with the FOMO and the chasing. And almost, playing the altcoins is really like playing casino. You can make some big money if you walk away at the right time, but chances are you stay there, it's going to hurt you. And I don't want to see you get hurt, my dogs. I want to see you be in this business for a long time. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys a little bit later. It's time for me to hang out with the Alpha team and mark up about 40 charts. Later, guys.